لتعجيل فرج المولى صاحب العصر والزمان ولحفظ وجوده الشريف أفلح من صلى على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بفضل الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وأفضل الصلاة وأزكى التسليم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. واللعن الدائم على أعدائهم أجمعين من لدن آدم إلى قيام يوم الدين آمين رب العالمين. Whenever we arrive to this spiritual event, we always remember the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi in his sermon that he said at the end of the month of Sha'ban, where he speaks to all the people. He says, أيها الناس إنه قد أقبل إليكم شهر الله بالخير والبركة والرحمة. That the month of Allah has arrived to you with goodness, with mercy, with these gifts from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we all look forward to this month. Some look forward for this month in order to enjoy the moments with the family, the sweetness of breaking the fast, the social gatherings, maybe attending to the center and the sweetness of it. Because whether I'm a righteous person, a practicing person or not, these are sweet to me, these gatherings, because whether I like it or not, it's nourishing and it's a nutrition to my spirit. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. A nutrition to my soul, which is the greater side of the existence of the human being. But when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi speaks about the goodness and the gifts of this month, it needs someone who understands the value of this. Of course, I know that the Sayyid spoke last week about how to prepare for this month and the importance of preparing for the month of Ramadan, the month of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. But why do we prepare? Why does it need preparing? Because there is a fruit that we are supposed to harvest. There is a fruit that we are supposed to harvest. And there is no way and there is no path in order to reach that fruit except if we prepare. Same whenever we want to prepare for a test. Anything in your life. Whatever you, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa, when he gave his sermon, he didn't give this sermon in the beginning of Shahr Ramadan. He didn't give this sermon in the middle of Shahr Ramadan. He didn't give this sermon at the end of Shahr Ramadan to the people to tell them, now that you finished this month has been this and that for you. Rasulullah mentioned this sermon before Shahr Ramadan and a week and even more than that before Shahr Ramadan to show us the importance of preparation to these events, especially when it's a spiritual event. And we are supposed to understand the importance of these events for us, especially when Ahlul Bayt salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi speak about it. When we look at the hadith and the narrations in general and what is it supposed to represent for us? What is the importance of any words that are said? We look when the narrations of Ahlul Bayt are narrated, sometimes we read that this narration is said by the Imam himself. He doesn't mention the chain of the narrators to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. Even though that this narration goes back to Rasulullah, because their knowledge is derived and is an extension from the knowledge of Rasulullah. If we consider the knowledge of Amir al-Mu'mineen is different than the knowledge of Rasulullah, then we consider these two paths are parallel to each other, that each path is a different path. But we believe that the knowledge of Ahlul Bayt is derived and the representative of the knowledge of Rasulullah, the representative of the knowledge of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. But there is a special narration, and whenever there is an important narration that Ahlul Bayt want us to listen to, they mention this chain of narrators. And this famous chain, the narration of the golden chain, which we all know about. that is narrated by Al-Imam Rida salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. When he was about to leave in a travel from his Shia, and he looked upon them, he said, I heard my father, Al-Imam Musa al-Kadhim said, that his father Al-Imam al-Sadiq said, that his father Al-Imam al-Baqir said, by Imam Zayn al-Abidin, until he reached Amir al-Mu'mineen, that Ali ibn Abi Talib said, I heard Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi said, that my beloved Jibreel said, that Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala said, the word La ilaha illallah is my fortress. Kalimatu La ilaha illallah hisni. Whoever enters my fortress, amina min adhab. Whoever enters this fortress is safe from the punishment of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. And then he says, but with the conditions of these words. And I am from these conditions, which is the Prophet and the Imams. These are the conditions of Kalimatul Tawheed. So if the word of Tawheed is the safety from the punishment of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, then this word is very important and vital to me in order to avoid the fire of hell. And the only thing that can help me in order to fulfill my duty towards this kalima is to strengthen my relationship with Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, which is the fruit of Shahr Ramadan. The month of Ramadan is the month of change. And every year we say, this is going to be my year. Is 2023 your year? I don't know who added that to the poster, but he made it rhyme. You know? The month of change is here. Is 2023 your year? So, it's the month of change. And every year I would say that this year is going to be my year. This year I'm going to change. And then we ask ourselves, outside Shahr Ramadan, what are we going to change? The majority of the people, they don't see the need of changing. Once they fulfill whatever they need from this life. I secured a job. I have a wife. I'm building a family. I secured a mortgage for the house. I have a car. Then there is nothing wrong with me. Everything is flowing so smoothly for me. I don't need to change. Why? Because they think about it and they see it in a materialistic way. Even when it comes to Shahr Ramadan, the month of fasting, they say, oh, this is the month of anger, just came. I don't know how I will be working without my coffee, without my cigarette. When I go back home, I don't know how am I going to deal with my wife, with my children. All of these are considered challenges for certain people. If I'm still like that, and I'm saying the majority, I'm not only talking about those who are even practicing people, mu'mineen, that they still face these challenges. They look at Shahr Ramadan as the month of challenges, while some of the Shia, they look at Shahr Ramadan as a chance. Now is a great chance. Now, before, the battle was not fair. I am in a continuous battle on my daily basis. A battle when I go to the arena, and who's against me? There is the shaitan against me, and there is the nafs against me. The nafs lures you into the disobedience of Allah, lures you into the desires, lures you into ignorance, and the shaitan as well is aiding it. The shaitan trying to see the doors that can access you as a human being in order to change you to what's worse, and then the nafs is the widest of the doors. If I don't hold the reins of my nafs, as Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi said, إِنَّمَا هِيَ نَفْسِي أَرُوضُهَا. This is my inner self that I want to tame. And we say arud is when someone is trying to tame a wild horse. إِنَّمَا هِيَ نَفْسِي أَرُوضُهَا بِالتَّقْوَى. I tame it with piety. And piety is the fruit of this month. يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا كُتِبَ عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. Fasting has been decreed upon you the same way it's been decreed upon the nations before you. Nations before Islam, during the times of different prophets, they were ordered to fast. And it's been decreed upon you. And what's the fruit? لعلكم تتقون. So you can be pious, maybe. Piety is a very general headline that it covers too many things, too many aspects of our lives and our relationship with Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. So the question that we ask ourselves, what am I going to change? And how would I change? This is supposed to be a simple answer to it. But what stands an obstacle to the change? Heedlessness. When I am waiting to watch a UFC fight, or when I'm waiting to watch a match of soccer, or rugby league, or whatever, and then I sleep in, and then I wake up and it's too late, that feeling that I feel, and I look at my brother or my sister or my friend, why didn't you wake me up? I was looking forward to this. I wanted to watch it. I want to live the moment. When I miss out, that feeling is so hard and so bad. Why? Because I feel that I fell short. And this is a simple worldly thing that happens every time. Not only with what I want to have fun with, even when it comes to work, even when it comes to chances in life. So there is the same situation that happens, but I can't watch the match again if it's recorded online. I can't get the news from my friends who won and who lost on the day of judgment. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the verse, Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, وأنذرهم يوم الحسرة إذ قضي الأمر وهم في غفلة وهم لا يؤمنون. And warn them of the day of intense regret, which is the day of judgment. وهم في غفلة, and they are in ignorance and heedlessness. وهم لا يؤمنون, and they do not believe. Usually when someone is ignorant, when he goes back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he would say, oh Allah, I have an excuse. The knowledge didn't reach me. But Allah is speaking about these people, that they are regretful. They are in intense regret. Why? Because it's their fault. They would realize themselves. They would be in intense regret and they have nothing to say to Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. وَأَنذِرْهُمْ يَوْمَ الْحَسْرَةِ إِذْ قُضِيَ الْأَمْرُ وَهُمْ فِي غَفْلَةٍ وَهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. I was heedless in the dunya and I didn't see the true value of the chances that was given in this life. Allah gave us chances. And inshallah, what motivates us to change is to realize the value of this month, the value of this chance, where my inner self is in front of me. The same way I look at a mirror and try to see the mistakes, the same way in order to look what's wrong with my shirt, with my clothing, if I look at it, I can see that it's torn here, it needs some stitches, there is a button that is out here, I need to fix it, I have to look at it. I can't be wearing it and see it unless someone else tells me about it or I look at it in front of me. So the nafs in Shahr Ramadan, it's like that. The shaitan is in shackles and now me and my inner self. It's my chance to see what are the mistakes and change them. But I have to realize first that I need that change. It's very important that when I achieve this dunya, it doesn't mean that I acquired everything and what's important. And in order to see the value of these changes, we take the words of Rasulullah from the sermon that he said in Sha'ban in few points after Salat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So he says, أيها الناس إنه قد أقبل إليكم شهر الله بالبركة والرحمة والمغفرة. That the month of Allah came to you with mercy and forgiveness and with blessings. This is the first point. شهر هو عند الله أفضل الشهور وأيامه أفضل الأيام ولياليه أفضل الليالي وساعاته أفضل الساعات. This month in the eyes of Allah is the best of the months, and its days are the best of the days, and its hours are the best of the hours, and its nights are the best of the nights. So in order to be motivated to change, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi is reminding me that this time that you have, the days, the nights, the hours, everything, you have to look at it differently. I'm not supposed, when we say this is the best night, the first thing that comes to my mind, there's this night that the sky is full of stars, and I go outside, there's a beautiful breeze when the day was too hot. There's a beautiful breeze where I have the chance now to put a chair outside, look at the sky, have the argili on. This is the best night. For a lot of people, it's like that. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is trying to wake me up on something that change your perspective. Look at your time differently. When you have a chance, when you have leisure time, it's not the time to have fun. Yes, I can dedicate part of it for my desires. As Al-Imam Zayn al-Abidin says, that part of your time is supposed to be dedicated for your desires in what satisfies Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. So when Allah is saying that these hours in this month are the best of the hours, the nights are the best of the nights, in what sense? Is the weather going to be better? No. It's the blessings in these nights. It's a chance to strengthen your relationship with Allah so you can deserve to be a person who says La ilaha illallah, which is the fortress of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Which is the fortress that you enter and then you will be safe from the punishment. That's the intellectual thing to do. When it comes to the books of aqaid and beliefs and the hawza, one of the logical evidences on worship is it's called luzum daf' al-darar. The intellectual need, the logical need of avoiding harm. When I grow up in a community that too many religions are around, too many religions. Each religion claims to be right. Each religion claims to be the path to heaven, and the other religions are the path to the fire of hell. Then I have fear that there is a chance that I am going to the fire of hell. The best way to avoid harm is to follow a religion depending on an evidence that gives me tranquility and ease in the heart. So avoiding harm. So being safe from the punishment of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala through kalimatul tawheed, that will be first thing to change in Shahr Ramadan through changing our perspective when it comes to the time. Not to waste this time. Take the chance. Shahr Ramadan is a month of the change. It means every month for me is supposed to be a Shahr Ramadan. Shahr Ramadan is practicing. You practice in this month. Now the shaitan is in shackles. You know, when any game that you go to, first thing there's a tutorial where the opponent is not moving. He doesn't fight back. You just hit him, try the moves and everything. Now you trained. Afterwards, you face either the AI opponent or someone online. And then you and how you use that tutorial and that training. So look at the time in a different perspective. The second thing that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam speaks about, هو شهر دعيتم فيه إلى ضيافة الله وجعلتم فيه من أهل كرامة الله. It's a month that you were invited. All of you, he said, أيها الناس, all you people, Muslims, non-Muslims, practicing, non-practicing, whether you are a sinful person that you did not leave your sin a second, or you are a person who's pious. All of you, now you are invited. And the host is Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. And you are made min ahli al-karama, of the people of the dignity. It means when Rasulullah says that, it means I have to concentrate. Who am I a guest to in the other months? Sometimes in the case of a sin, I am the guest of the shaitan. Sometimes I'm the guest of the nafs. Is if I'm overspending my money and my time on things that are permissible, are halal, but I'm overspending my time and money on it. This is, I'm the guest of the nafs. But when Rasulullah says that, it means make sure you think carefully about who you are going to be the guest for. This month, all of you get the chance to be the guests of Allah. And now taste the sweetness of it. Being the guest of Allah, look at Shahr Ramadan. A lot of people, even non-practicing people, they look forward to it because it has a special taste. So هو شهر دعيتم فيه إلى ضيافة الله, to change. In order to use this month as a change for myself, I have to reflect upon who am I going to be the guest of. The third thing, أنفاسكم فيه تسبيح ونومكم فيه عبادة وعملكم فيه مقبول ودعاؤكم فيه مستجاب. Your breath is considered a tasbih. And sleeping, which is a lot of narrations when it speaks about different than Shahr Ramadan, there are too many narrations that speaks about how bad it is to sleep a lot or to sleep in all of the hours of the night. It's bad. Whoever eats a lot, and I always mention this narration, drinks a lot. When you eat a lot, you drink a lot. Whoever drinks a lot, sleeps a lot. And whoever sleeps a lot, his heart would die. And whoever his heart would die, he is of the inhabitants of the hellfire. So this is one of the... But in Shahr Ramadan, even your sleep is considered a worship. When Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi says that, it means that if you want to use Shahr Ramadan as the month of change, so this new year is going to be your year, is to take advantage of the worship and reflect upon the importance of the nafas. Even the breath has an importance. When I hear that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi saying that when you breathe, this is considered a tasbih, takes you closer to Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, and then I think about that grace. If the nafas has that value that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave it a value, imagine saying words. What is the value of the word? A very big door to the shaitan, the entrance of the shaitan, are the useless words. When someone wastes his words in something that is meaningless. فَاسْأَلُوا اللَّهَ رَبَّكُمْ. This is an important point. I will mention this after Salat ala Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. فَاسْأَلُوا اللَّهَ رَبَّكُمْ بِنِيَّاتٍ صَادِقَةٍ وَقُلُوبٍ طَاهِرَةٍ أَنْ يُوَفِّقَكُمْ لِصِيَامِهِ وَتِلَاوَةِ كِتَابِهِ فإن الشقي من حرم غفران الله في هذا الشهر العظيم. So ask Allah, Rasulullah say, with sincere intention, with pure hearts, to give you tawfiq to fast in this month and to read the Quran. فإن الشقي من حرم الشقي. I don't know like the proper explanation of it in English, but what I know about الشقي is that Rasulullah said it about the person who killed Amir al-Mu'mineen. يقتله أشقى الأشقياء. Wretched, not wrenched. Wicked person. So if the killer of Amir al-Mu'mineen is considered a shaqi, so the shaqi in this month, من حرم غفران الله في هذا الشهر, who is deprived from the forgiveness of Allah in this month. So the point is here. And there are too many points, but I don't want to take a lot of your time. He says, ask Allah with sincere intention and pure hearts to give you tawfiq to fast and read Quran, which means fasting in Shahr Ramadan or in different Shahr Ramadan, and reading Quran. If I read Quran in different than Shahr Ramadan or in Shahr Ramadan, it's not because of my own efforts, because Allah gave me the tawfiq to. And in order to be deserving of that tawfiq, I have to ask Allah, not any kind of ask, with pure hearts and sincere intention. So one of the obstacles between me and change, if this Shahr Ramadan ended and nothing is different with me, it's a month, and the narration says, "Man tasawa yawmah fahuwa maghbun." If a person, his 2 days are equal, he's tricked. You are tricked by the dunya, you are tricked by the nafs, you are tricked by everything else. If there is no progression between today and yesterday, if my level and status is the same, then I'm tricked. And I consider myself, I'm this man who achieved a lot. I built my own business. I am leading a family. Or I am this woman that I raised my children properly. And then with all this strength and how I think about myself, and I get tricked. By what? by something that I can't even sense. At the same time, Ahlul Bayt warned us about it, by the nafs and by the dunya. So, in order to remove the obstacle between me and change, is to make our intentions sincere and our hearts pure. The last thing that I will mention, فَاسْأَلُوا اللَّهَ أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ إِنَّ أَنفُسَكُمْ مَرْهُونَةً بِأَعْمَالِكُمْ. That yourselves and the survival of your nafs, the survival of you, depends on your actions. فَفُكُّوهَا بِاسْتِغْفَارِكُمْ. Release yourselves from the shackles through seeking forgiveness. So when I realize that my survival depends on my actions, what I do, I reflect upon my actions. What do I do on my daily basis? What is considered an obstacle between me and change? So the month of Ramadan is here and near. We have to plan. We have to look upon ourselves. What are the things that are considered an obstacle between me and changing into being a better worshipper, a better servant to Allah, a better slave to Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala? What are the obstacles? When I go through a mental issue, a hard time, hardship, when it's something like that, a psychological issue, depression, all of these things, it's because of the weakness of my relationship with Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. Then there is definitely something to change. What are we going to do about that? A question that is left for you to be answered. And we ask Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala to grant us the tawfiq and the ability to fulfill our duty towards this month and to be of those who prepare themselves for this kind of events. What is the meaning of preparing ourselves for a worldly thing if it's going to vanish and it's going to be left for others? But what's important is to work hard and prepare and change for the things that would fill my bank account in the day of judgment. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the tawfiq to do that. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hasten the appearance of Sahib al-Asr wa zaman, Ajjal Allah ta'ala farajah sharif, and grant us the tawfiq to be of those who will fight under his standards and to be martyred between his hands. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the best of statuses in the dunya and the highest of levels in the day of judgment, and to have mercy upon us. ولقضاء الحوائج وشفاء المرضى ولتعجيل الفرج ولقبول الأعمال وغفران الذنوب ولأرواح أموات المؤمنين والمؤمنات من مات على الإيمان. نهدي الجميع ثواب ما قرأنا وثواب المباركة الفاتحة مسبوقة بالصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.